Hey guys, sorry I missed you last week. My family is in from Europe, so I was spending a little bit of time with them. But I hear Corey did a great show. I watched it. Thanks everyone for your comments. Really awesome. Today, I got an awesome guest. Is the co-founder of Phoenician Engineering. They make these beautiful grinders right here. This is actually a gift from Colton, who's my guest today. For everyone who doesn't know what a grinder is, you put your flour into here, it grinds it up small enough that you could use vaporizer, pipe, roll it in a joint. And these ones, what I love about these ones is the fact they don't have like it's not a screw, it's more of a lock. So with the ones that have the screws, they really get a lot of crystals in there that makes it hard to, line it up and whatnot. This is just so simple and easy. So I love them. They're actually a sponsor of the show, and I actually liked them before they were a sponsor. So it's not just me saying that. So Colton, why don't you come on to the show here, buddy, and tell me a little bit about yourself?
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jesse. It's great to do this, and great to be here on this show with you. So thank you. We started Phoenician Engineering 4 years ago with an idea that we wanted to make some really high quality American made engineered products, and we wanted the whole intention behind that what we were doing to be something that patients felt comfortable using and that was conducive to different conditions that they may have. And one thing led to another, and 4 years later, here we are. So it's been a great journey and experience thus far,
A brand
and
new company.
hopefully many more years to come. What's that?
I said you're like a brand new company that just skyrocketed upwards.
We're moving in the right direction, right? We're going in the right direction. So, no, we've been very fortunate, and we've worked hard, and we still have a lot to do, and staying hungry. And we've got new products coming out. I mean, the grinders are kind of our bread and butter, what we started with, and how we kind of made our name. But now we're trying to branch out into some other ancillary things like trays and pipes and consumables, rolling papers, glass, even. So we are. We have a lot of cool things that we want to do, and we're rolling them out as we're able to. And we just like to take our time, do it right, and then continue to grow from there. But yeah, no, it's been a great experience, and I'm fortunate to say I love what I do for a living. So very blessed.
Not a lot of people can say that, and we've been partners for a long time now, and you're made in America, but your presence is global. What are your biggest markets besides America?
Honestly, Canada is huge for us.
Woo!
Australia, yeah, there we go. Australia's been calling. Europe's been big, and kind of funny, but even South America, we have a pretty big distributor in Chile, and who would have thought? But the cannabis culture and community. Is without borders, right? I mean, it's really a collective mindset of people that are using medicine to better themselves, in whatever way that they may need to do that. And it's just neat to see, you know, um, how different different communities all have this common thread. So it's definitely growing, and it's neat to see it grow. The legislative efforts are interesting to follow, not only with rec, but medicinal and just decriminalizing in general. So it's neat to see. I think at least from a medicinal standpoint, things are getting better for patients and having access to medicine that helps them, which is fundamentally what why we're doing this. So that's good to see.
So you're based down in Arizona, correct?
That's right. Yep, just a suburb of Phoenix, Arizona. So it's hot here right now. Hot.
What are the regulations down there? Because obviously, Canada has medicinal cannabis legal. getting wrecked soon. What are you guys working with down there in Arizona?
So Arizona is currently a medicinal state. I think we have approximately 100,000 registered medical patients.
Oh,
So it's growing and growing every year. And I can't speak from experience regarding like other medicinal programs, but I can say that the one here I think is set up really well. There's a lot of great dispensaries here. There's a lot of great services for patients here. So I think the Arizona medicinal cannabis community is growing and thriving, and I think it's been set up well. Not that it hasn't had issues. I think anybody can say that, but overall, I think it's a pretty good thing here. So it's been good to see it grow too.
before we went live, you were about to tell me about the craziness going on in California. I'm like, Colton, save it for the live show, buddy. We're live now, so might as well
Yeah.
jump into it.
Yeah, no, it's kind of ironic because literally about an hour before this show, I'm always reading articles. I'm a news junkie as it pertains to cannabis. So um, before this, I was reading this article. I think it's on like Yahoo Finance or something like that. But basically, in a nutshell, the not only do you have one of, if not the largest cannabis markets in the world in
It's
one
huge
state,
there. It's huge.
state, but you have this interesting dichotomy between the black market and then now full legal, fully compliant cultivators and retailers, and what basically what the article touched on was it's a two front battle, because you have patients that are still going to always buy um, from a non-regulated illegal source, because they don't have to have they don't have to pay the taxes. It's maybe someone they trust. There's a lot of incentives for people not to buy legally, which is a big problem there. And I think it'll be interesting to see how that kind of evolves and manifests. But talk about a big guinea pig. So I mean, they do a lot of things right. California's been on the forefront of uh, can a lot of things in cannabis for a long time. It's just interesting to see not only economically, but how it affects people's lives, because you have farmers in Northern California, and then you've got all this big business coming in, and it's just a very interesting landscape that's changing very, very quickly. So I'm fascinated by it. um it'll be interesting to see what happens, but in any case, it's there's still a lot of things that have to be worked out, and they will. It takes time. I mean, we're all pioneers on this new frontier. So somebody's got to do it.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Like when I landed in California, it was a crazy long travel day. I was working at the same time, so landed about 8 p.m. I'm like, all right, let's find a dispensary. Type dispensary into Google Maps in San Francisco. The whole map just lit right up. It's like you can barely see the streets anymore with how many dispensaries.
Right, right.
But recently they had a law change, because the day I landed was June 30th, and the prices, they're pretty on par with what I'm paying here for medical. But then the next day when I went to the dispensaries, they jacked them all up, and the reason for that is because the government implemented all these new testing regulations, new packaging, childproofing, and all that. And it seems like it was like pushing out a lot of the growers and distributors who maybe didn't have the big budgets to transfer over that. Do you have any insight on that, or do you know anything about that?
I think you said that perfectly. I mean, ultimately, what I see happening in the future is, you're gonna have to scale and be very, very big to have any chance, honestly. And there will be small craft producers and retailers always, like there is in alcohol and other things too. So there will always be a niche for that, in my opinion. But for the vast majority, it's a daunting outlook, I think, not only with the capital required to scale, but like you had mentioned, to meet the regulatory burdens now, and then you're dealing with a product that has prices decreased significantly in the last 4 years. Irregardless of what is going on. Legislated in regards to legislation. So it's an interesting time. And on that subject, here in Arizona, it's kind of interesting. Last month, the way the medicinal law was written had some ambiguous language in it with regard to concentrates and how a concentrate was defined. And Basically, where things are at right now, there's a lot of litigation, and there's appeals and all sorts of stuff. But technically, right now, all concentrates, meaning pens, wax, shatter, all that kind of stuff, is technically illegal here for a patient to have, which is a big deal. So, and this is just one example here in Arizona, and there's going to be a lot of examples, I think, elsewhere. But it's just interesting that, and it's a problem too, obviously, because people are making their living and livelihoods on this, and then obviously patients are consuming it, so it's very important. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But again, it just goes back to the original point we were discussing, and it's just it's an interesting time in the industry. So we'll wait and see.
Well, like you said there, man, like if all they can get is flour, and I haven't hit this point yet, flour still affects me perfectly, but
Yeah.
certain people, like I know veterans up here, they're getting reimbursed 10 grams a day. So to go through 10 grams a day of flour is pretty substantial, not to mention 3, 5, or
Yeah.
all these numbers. But you take away an extract, which is like a pure form of THC or CBD, and you need so much less of it, and it's so much less, I don't want to say harmful in your lungs, but way less going into your lungs or way less going into your body and amounts. So it's kind of sad to hear that you guys are kind of just limited to just flour down there.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things that's technically the law, but enforcement's an entirely different story. Based on what I can tell, is it's business as normal. It just you don't ever want to be in a position where you have exposure where you don't. So as a patient that you know wants to medicate with that, it's just unfortunate. But like I said, I'm sure it'll get worked out. How long it takes and how that transpires, time will tell. But it's it's wild, that's for sure.
Well, Colton, before we get to our special announcement of me warming up for the winter, do you have any final things you want to say to the viewers and all your loyal customers? You guys have an amazing following, and that's super impressive for what you guys have built in such a short amount of time. But do you have anything you want to say to everyone?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Just we have a lot of gratitude for everyone that has supported us. We basically just turned 4 this summer, so it's been a great experience, and it's been a real privilege to be able to help people and to get the feedback that we've got. And we don't do everything right, but we definitely try to, and we try to make a really good product. So just want to thank everyone for their support, whether you have used our product or not. Thank you for the support, and thank you for supporting the community. More importantly, because that's what it's all about. So we stick together, and we push things forward and get things done. And that's a formidable force. So it's a privilege to be a part of it. So thank you.
It's a privilege to have you on and to be partners in the international business and to have you as a sponsor. Just the list goes on of stuff we're doing, Colton. And now for a new announcement, Colton has invited me down to Arizona in the winter so I can defrost a little bit. He didn't want to come up here. He didn't want to come camping up here in January, so I got to go down there.
No, I don't.
For everyone who's seen the Stores and Bickle video, I'm going to be making a very similar one for Phoenician and for Da Vinci Vaporizers. Those are my 3 sponsors. Phoenician was actually the first one. So Colton, thank you so much for believing in this one. Really, there was nothing yet, but we're building this and getting a lot of views and a lot of good traction. So yeah. It's the first year of many. So I really appreciate you coming on, man.
Absolutely, Jesse. It's a pleasure. Thank you for what you're doing, and keep doing it.
All right, buddy. Well, I'll see you soon, and thanks so much for coming on.
All right. Take care now.
Talk soon.
All right. Bye.